Hawkeye Sports Network. From Learfield, Iowa Hawkeye Softball is brought to you by Homewood and Home 2 Suites, preferred hotel of the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Oak Knoll, an active life care community by University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. And by Iowa City Tire and Service, a proud supporter of Hawkeye softball. Iowa City Tire, where service actually comes first. Hawkeye softball is on the air.
Teams have taken the field, and we're just about set to play game one of our three-game series between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Hi, my name is Lucas Strain, and you are listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Hawkeyes on the road this weekend, traveling up to Minneapolis to play the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Nia Carter's going to dig into the box as we get set for first pitch. On our 3 o'clock start time, schedule was changed up. The game was moved up because of upcoming weather in the Minneapolis area, and ball one is taken by Carter to get things started. The Iowa Hawkeyes coming into this game at a 28-17 record and 8-6 in the conference. That's 7th in the Big Ten as Carter fouls one off as the count goes 1-1. Nia Carter, who's looking to continue what has been a very excellent campaign thus far for the Hawkeyes. Carter, a .471 hitter this season, as she pokes one down the left field line, but foul. That .471 batting average paces the entire Big Ten Conference. She also leads the team in on-base percentage, good for 4th best in the Big Ten. She's one of 5 players in the entire conference who has struck out less than 5 times. So the count's 1-2, and here's an off-speed that's low and away. The off-speed coming from Minnesota pitcher number 25, Autumn Pease. Pease has had a very quality season thus far for Minnesota, and it's paid off. She was taken in the 3rd round of the women's fast pitch draft last week by the Texas Smoke, a brand new team in the fast pitch league. Now here's a line drive out towards right field. Down the line, it's going to drop in fair, reach the wall. That's at least 2. Carter's going to stop at second base, and that's a leadoff double for Nia Carter. She shows the Hawk celebration out there on second base. So the Hawkeyes have a double to lead things off. Wind's blowing out towards right field just a little bit. So Carter aided just a little by the wind, but that double was reaching the wall no matter what. Now Tatiana Roman will dig in for the Hawkeyes. And what is a sacrifice situation, we'll see if she lays the bunt down. She has 7 sacrifices on the season. That's the second most in the Big Ten. Takes ball 1 upstairs. Roman's hitting .303 this season, but has been struggling just a little bit in Big Ten. Has the sophomore from Garden Grove, California. She swings and misses at a ball in her eyes. Strike 1. He said Roman's been struggling just a little bit in the Big Ten. She's 11 for 46 in conference play, and you take out a Michigan State series. Michigan State series when she was 4 for 11, but that's against a Michigan State team that only has 2 Big Ten wins this year. She fouls one off down the left field line. You take out that 3-game set against the Spartans, and she's 7 of 35, and that's just a .200 batting average. This for Roman, who's hitting over .300 on the season out of the 2-hole. Hawkeyes running their traditional lineup. The lineup that we've seen been used quite a bit from Coach Gillespie. And here's an off-speed that catches the inside corner for strike 3. So Roman goes down looking, and Pease has her first strikeout of the afternoon. So to bring up Tori Bennett now, the freshman shortstop from Fort Dodge. It's been a very solid freshman campaign for the freshman. And she hits a weak ground ball down the left field line, but it's going to go foul. Home plate umpire pops right up and throws his hands into the air to signal that the ball was just left of the chalk. Bennett hitting .318 this season, a .382 OBP and a .392 slugging. Has 9 doubles on the season to lead the team and has tied for the 9th most hits in the Big Ten. And she swings and misses at a ball at her lettering, strike 2. Hawkeyes wearing their all-gray uniforms today, have been typically wearing gray a lot more once conference play started. Gray jerseys, gray pants, those wearing sleeves are all in white, with gray stirrups as well. The 0-2 is a curveball that cuts outside for ball 1. Nia Carter stands on second base after the leadoff double down the right field wall. Tori Bennett in their last game earlier this week, Hawkeyes visited Western Illinois, and she fouls one off the netting. Count stays 1-2. Hawkeyes went out to Western Illinois earlier this week on Wednesday and won by a final score of 7-1. Brianna Vasquez took a perfect game into the 5th inning for the Hawkeyes, as 4 Hawkeyes mustered across a multi-hit game, and Bennett's able to lay off the curveball outside. As we're going to check our swing down with our third base umpire, but she did not go around. So the count is 2-2. The first of our 3-game set between the Hawkeyes and the Golden Gophers. Here's another curveball outside, and after falling behind 0-2, Bennett's able to work the count full. In that Western Illinois game, Bennett went 2 for 4, scoring twice, and those 2 runs are significant because that's the first time that she's scored since March 26th, almost an entire month since she had crossed the plate. And she chases one down low out of the zone, swings and misses for strike 3. And Autumn Pease has her second strikeout of the inning. So the Hawkeyes look to avoid stranding Carter's leadoff double. And it'll come down to Grace Baines. Baines, the junior third baseman from Kansas City, Kansas. Not Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Kansas. She takes strike 1 on the black. Counts 0-1. Baines, before last weekend's series against Maryland, had a 10-game hitting streak. In Game 1 in that Maryland series, she saw the streak end, and since that 10-game hitting streak, she's gone 0 for her last 12. And she takes a ball outside, 1-1. 270 hitter on the year. 338 OBP, 401 slugging. Also leads the team this year in triples with 3 of them. That's tied for the 3rd most in the Big Ten. But she's yet to hit one in Big Ten play. The pitch is swung on and missed. A nice curveball that just started on the plate and worked its way off out of the hand of Pease. So Carter stands on second base with 2 outs. Pease into the motion, and the pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3, and Baines goes down swinging. So Nia Carter leads things up with a double off the right field wall, but 3 straight strikeouts from Autumn Pease. And the Hawkeyes go scoreless in the top half of the first. In the bottom half, Minnesota's coming up. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
We head to the home half of the first inning after Iowa had a leadoff double from Nia Carter before she was stranded on second base after 3 straight Hawkeye strikeouts. And in the circle this afternoon for the Hawkeyes is the ace on the squad, number 3, Brianna Vasquez. Vasquez enjoying a very productive season for the Hawkeyes. His 16-4 record with a 1.79 ERA over 125 innings this season. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. She will be pitching first to Kayla Chavez, a sophomore infielder from Chino Hills, California. A .336 batter on the season. And she fouls one off the netting. Strike 2. Chavez wearing the very unique number 77 for Minnesota. Minnesota wearing their all-white uniforms, maroon lettering, maroon stirrups over white socks, with white pants, maroon belts, and maroon sleeves, with white batting helmets. The 1-2, excuse me, is fouled up and away over the press box. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Iowa defensively from left field over to right field is Klosterman, Roman, and Carter. Across the infield from third to first, we'll get to it in a second as Vasquez throws one upstairs for ball 2. Across the infield from third base over to first is Grace Baines, Tori Bennett, Anna Streff, and Sammy Diaz. And behind the plate is Tristan Doster, and as I said before, with the ball in her hand is Brianna Vasquez. The count's 2-2. And here's a changeup that's yanked high, and the count is full. The full count pitch from Vasquez is up and away for ball 4, so Chavez, after falling behind 1-2, works the leadoff walk. And just like the Hawkeyes, Minnesota has their leadoff runner on board. And coming up now for the Golden Gophers is Amani Bradley. Ronnie, the left-handed stick. Takes that slap approach, shows bunt first time dragging, but pulls it back as it was up in her eyes. Bradley, a .255 hitter on the season, 27 hits and 106 ABs. An OBP of .342. And she watches strike 1 and even the count at 1 apiece. Minnesota coming into this game, they are coming off a 3-game series with Michigan State, as they are strike 2 on the outer half to the left-handed Bradley. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Minnesota coming off a 3-game series with the Michigan State Spartans, in which Minnesota won 2 of 3, losing Game 3 of the series. As here's a pop fly that'll stay on the infield Tori Bennett goes over and makes the two-handed catch. And there's one away. So now it'll be Natalie DenHartog. One of the most unique last names that you're probably ever going to see. It's spelled D-E-N, capital H-A-R-T-O-G, DenHartog. And DenHartog watches ball one, a fastball out of the hands of Vasquez, and it goes upstairs. Ball one. You see a little bit of rain is coming in, a little bit of snow as well, as there's 30% chance of snow in the forecast in Minneapolis. This game was moved up time-wise. It was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. But obviously, if you're listening to me right now, then you can tell that the game was moved to a 3 o'clock start time. Try and get it in before the weather hits. The pitch is upstairs for a ball. So Vasquez continuing to struggle with her command here. Already pitched a leadoff walk to Kayla Chavez and is now behind to Natalie DenHartog. The 3-0 is thrown upstairs, so that's a 4-pitch walk from the Iowa ace. And a pair of walks has Minnesota with runners on first and second and only one out. And cleanup hitter Jess Oakland will be coming to the plate as Doster makes her way out into the circle and have a quick chat with Vasquez. Snow is really coming down now. You see Doster takes the hand that's in her catcher's mitt, takes it out, puts her mitt between her legs, and sticks both hands in her pockets, just trying to keep her hands warm. It's not very often you get to see a softball game played in the snow. And Vasquez finds the zone again, strike one to Oakland. Jess Oakland is a freshman, and she just won Freshman of the Week in the Big Ten. That's the second time she's won it this year. Watches ball one, count evens at 1 apiece. Last week, she went 5 for 10, scoring 3 times, and had an RBI. Now, as we said, Minnesota had a 3-game set with Michigan State. As Vasquez's 1-1 is a screwball that cuts just too far inside, counts 2-1. So they had a 3-game set against Michigan State, in which Oakland won the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. If you remember 2 weeks ago, Iowa had a series with Michigan State, and Nia Carter won the Big Ten Player of the Week. So back-to-back weeks in which Michigan State allowed a Player of the Week for their opponents. As here's a fly ball into shallow right center field. Roman and Carter coming on. Carter's going to call off Roman and make the catch. No tag from Chavez at second base. It was just hit too shallow. So a pair of plays, a pair of outs made in the air surround a pair of walks, and there are 2 away with 2 on, and Sydney Strelo, the 5-hole hitter, second baseman for Minnesota, coming up now. As there's ball one, up and in the eyes. Strelo not having the season that she would really hope for. As she watches ball two. Strelo's only hitting 183 this season, 19 hits and 104 ABs, and compare that to her career total of 214. It's her 4th year playing consistent time for Minnesota. As she watches strike one, counts 2-1. The senior infielder is hit 260 as a freshman and 225 as a junior. So it's not an elite batting average, but it's certainly better than the 183 she's posted thus far. As ball 3 is thrown from Vasquez, so the count moves to 3-1. Vasquez continuing to struggle with her command here in the first inning. The 3-1 is in and off the fists and gone into the netting, so the count goes full. Full count, 2 outs, runners will be going on the pitch. So you have to imagine that any base hit into the outfield here from Strelo is going to score Chavez from second base. The full count pitch is a fly ball into left field. It's actually going to stay on the infield, and Torrey Bennett will make the catch. So 3 pop flies helps Vasquez avoid her pair of walks, and Minnesota gets a runner into scoring position, but nothing comes about. Both teams go scoreless in the first inning as we head to the second. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
So the Nerfy hits as both Iowa and Minnesota get a runner into scoring position. With 1 out or less, Hawkeyes had nobody out. But neither team is able to push across the run. And scoring has been a bit of a difficulty as of late for Iowa. In their 3-game series against Maryland, they failed to score more than 2 runs in every game. And strike 1 is thrown from Pease to Sammy Diaz, the Hawkeye first baseman. Diaz enjoying what's been a very good senior year. She's behind 0-1 now. And here's another curveball, this one in a very similar spot, but just outside. So the count evens at 1-1. Diaz, a 276 campaign, 374 OBP. Another curveball in that similar spot. This one is called a strike. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is Hawkeye's 46th game of the season, and Sammy Diaz has started all 46 of them over at first base as the junior from Cypress, California. And another curveball in the same spot. Again, it's just a little farther out. Diaz doesn't chase. So the count is 2-2. All 4 pitches have been curveballs just along that outside corner. Pease has just split them as 2 of them have caught the plate. 2 of them have been just outside. The count's 2-2. And there's a curveball swung on and missed. For strike 3, Diaz goes down swinging, and Pease has her 4th strikeout. 4 outs, 4 Ks. And now it'll be Denali Lecker for Iowa. The DP, junior from Ogden, Iowa. A 250 batting average, 331 OBP. She swings and misses at a fastball, strike 1. Lecker had a pretty decent series last weekend against Maryland. Went 3 for 9 with a double. That 3 for 9 really helping what has been a rough Big Ten play for her. She watches ball 1, a curveball outside. So we've seen Pease continue to throw the curveball in that same spot, just attacking that outside corner to a right-handed Hawkeyes. The count's 1-1, and it's swung on and missed on the fastball. For strike two, and Denali Lecker is behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. You can finally see the snow has died down just a little bit here in Minneapolis. So we try and get this game in, and here's a fastball that is swung on and missed. For strike 3, and that's 5 straight strikeouts for Autumn Pease. Nia Carter led things off with a double off the right field wall. But since that double, 5 straight strikeouts for the Minnesota ace. So now it'll be Tristan Doster. She swings and misses at a curveball, strike 1. Doster this season, a .333 batting average, .372 on base percentage. Behind 0-1 now. Swings and misses, chased out of the zone there, strike 2. So the Hawkeyes know that these curveballs are coming. And they're attacking that. Pieces attacking that low and outside corner to these righties, but Hawkeyes are just swinging right through it. The 2-strike pitch is outside, ball 1. Doster didn't even think about it. Doster, the Iowa catcher, has really solidified her spot. Caught her first game February 17th, has caught 27 games since, including what is now 19 in a row for the Hawkeyes. The 1-2 is a fly ball into shallow right field. DeHartog is coming over and will make the one-handed catch. Looked like there might be some controversy over between DeHartog and Burnett out and right. But DeHartog makes the catch for the third and final out. So the Hawkeyes go 3 up, 3 down in the top of the second. As we head to the bottom of the second, we're still scoreless. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
We head to the bottom of the second inning. The guys in Minnesota still scoreless. As the Hawkeyes went 3 up, 3 down, and Autumn Pease has struck out 5 Hawkeyes so far. Brianna Vasquez still in the circle after what was a rough first inning, but still didn't see any action. No runners crossed the plate. It was just a pair of walks, as Vasquez really struggled with her command. So she's going to get things going with Taylor Kraft, the Minnesota catcher. Minnesota playing well coming into this one. As I said, took 2 or 3 in a series against the Michigan State Spartans. And in games 1 and 2, they won by a combined score of 18-1. Vasquez's first pitch of the second is a fastball for a ball up high, 1-0. Our home plate umpire, he's been consistent with it thus far throughout the game, but he's really not calling anything that is really above the numbers on the uniform. Here's another one at the lettering that is also called a ball. That one's a little bit higher. But our home plate umpire has been consistent with it thus far. If it's a little bit up in the zone, he's not going to give it to you. And some people like umpires like that, where You know, we're going to make you put it in the zone. We're going to make some action happen. As here's ball 3 upstairs. And some people aren't a fan of it. They want that zone widened, and they want to force the offense to use the bat. They don't want to see walks. Vasquez is behind 3-0 now. And she pumps one in there for strike 1. First strike of the second inning. Hawkeyes struggling last weekend. Here's a pop fly over towards Carter in right field, but Streff, the second baseman, is going to range over and make the two-handed catch just in fair territory for out number 1. It'll bring up Maddie Elke for Minnesota. Elke, number 17, the junior from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Enjoying a .299 batting average on the season. The left-handed stick. Watches ball 1 low and inside. Elke is the DP in today's game. In Minnesota's last game against Michigan State, his curveball misses inside for ball 2. Maddie Elke went 0 for 3. It's really a rough offensive day for Minnesota as a whole, as the team was only able to muster 5 hits in that 2-3 loss to the Spartans in East Lansing. And strike 1 catches the outside corner, and the count's 2-1 to the Minnesota DP. Vasquez's 2-1 pitch, a hard ground ball down the left field side, and it will reach the outfield past the diving glove of Grace Baines. So there's the first hit of the afternoon for Minnesota, a hard ground ball, a single through the left side. And the Golden Gophers have a runner on with 1 away, and Delaney Cox will step in now. For Minnesota, Cox, a .206 hitter on the year, as she watches strike 1 cross at the knees. A .206 hitter with 11 RBIs and 1 home run. Minnesota wearing their white batting helmets, as the 0-1 is a ground ball down the left field line, but foul. Minnesota's white batting helmets, have the traditional Minnesota M across the top and just above the bill, but they have the what is originally the old but is now redesigned gopher head. I don't know how to explain it there. It's just the outline of that cartoonish gopher head, and it's pretty big, and it's sitting on the right side of their helmets, right on their right ear. The 0-2 is chased up and out of the zone by Cox for strike 3, and Brianna Vasquez has her first strikeout of the afternoon. And there are 2 away. As Breezy Burnett digs in now for Minnesota. Vasquez's first strikeout this season, her 125th on the year, now stands 6 away from 400 in her career. As she pumps in strike 1, and she seems to be finding the zone again. Burnett takes that approach where she shows bunt, but will always pull back and swing away once Vasquez goes into the motion. Here's a ball. Up and out. Iowa, Minnesota still scoreless. Here's a ball. Upstairs, counts 2-1. In what is game 1 of our 3-game set. Our Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or at least that's what it's scheduled to be. Weather is supposed to be better tomorrow and even better on Sunday. But the Hawkeyes have had plenty of rainouts thus far, or at least rescheduling issues so the Hawkeyes can get all their games in. So we shouldn't be surprised if that were to happen again. The 3-1 count to Burnett, the 9-hole header, and you really don't want to walk Burnett and turn the lineup over. And here's a foul ball up and over the press box, and the count is full. So Elke will be moving on the pitch. But as I said, you do not want to walk Burnett, who is hitting in the 9 spot today, and turn the lineup over. And bring up Chavez with a runner in scoring position. Give Minnesota the prime opportunity to take the first lead of the game. The full count pitch is called strike 3. A screwball that catches the inside corner. And Vasquez gets back-to-back strikeouts after the 1-out single. So after 2 complete, Iowa-Minnesota still knotted up at 0. As we head to the top of the 3rd, you are listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
So it's time for the top of the 3rd inning. I'm Lucas Strain. You're listening to Iowa Hawkeye Softball with Learfield. As leading things off for the Hawkeyes, it'll be 8-9-1 and in the order. So Briley Klosterman will look to get things going for Hawkeyes offensively. Klosterman, a very streaky player. She'll get in hot and she'll get in cold stretches. And you could say she's in one of her cold stretches right now, but that just means a hot stretch is just around the corner. And when she gets hot, she gets hot. And she's going to look to get things going against Autumn Pease. Watches strike 1 over the outer half. Pease, who has been very good so far for Minnesota, has gone 2 innings, allowing just 1 hit, and has struck out 5 Hawkeyes. 5 of the 7 Hawkeyes that have come to the plate. As Klosterman spits on one down the left field line. So the count is 0-2, and we said Klosterman gets in her hot and cold stretches. Over the Maryland series last weekend, she went 1 for 8, and she is 1 for her last 12. And she's behind 0-2 here. But this one is called a ball outside. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Klosterman hitting .281 this season and hits a line drive out towards right center field, and it's going to drop in safely for a base hit. So Briley Klosterman with a leadoff single into right center field, and the Hawkeyes might have something cooking here in the top of the 3rd. Only the 2nd hit of the game so far for Iowa. I mean, we're only in the 2nd inning, so it's not that too much to hang your head over. And now Anna Streff, who shows bunt, pulls back, as it was up and out. So Anna Streff will look to get Klosterman over to second base. Kind of surprised we're not seeing Coach Gillespie use a pinch runner here. We know how much Coach Gillespie loves getting that first run of the game, loves using both Down and Moss as runners early in the game as Streff swings and misses. Counts 1-1. After the swing and miss, maybe you have to imagine that the bunt is going to get put back down. Yeah, she does show bunt, and she chops at it and misses. And the count is 1-2 to the Hawkeye second baseman. Streff struggling offensively as of late as well. 2 for her last 14. You're going to be hearing me say that a lot because Iowa just didn't hit good last weekend against Maryland. And Streff swings and misses for strike 3. So that's 6 strikeouts. For Autumn Pease in her first time through the Hawkeye order. But the lineup will turn over now, and it's back to the top with Nia Carter. Carter as one of the 2 Hawkeye hits, doubled down the right field line, and to lead off the game. Shows bunt, pulls back, and ball 1 misses outside. Klosterman, who stands over at first base after the leadoff single, not a threat to run, has 0 for 1 on the season. As Carter shows bunt again, pulls back, but the pitch was in the zone. And the count's 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Klosterman stands on first base. Nia Carter at the plate. Nia Carter had the walk-off single in Game 3 against Maryland last weekend. Here's a ground ball down the left side, and it will reach the outfield for a base hit. As Nia Carter hits a ground ball through the left side, and the Hawkeyes have runners on first and second base with 1 out, and Tatiana Roman coming to the plate. So Roman digs in. Roman 0 for 1 today. Shows bunt, puts it down. It's in fair territory. The sacrifice, and the throw is over to first base in time. So the sac bunt works as Klosterman and Carter each move up a bag. As the Hawkeyes now have 2 in scoring position, but there are 2 away. First base now open. You have to imagine maybe, just maybe, the Minnesota head coach, Piper Ritter, maybe she's thinking about walking Tori Bennett and making Grace Baines be the one to deliver. Bennett, tied for the 9th most hits in the Big Ten this year. And here's a curveball outside, 1-0. Bennett did strike out in her first AB today. So the count's 1-0 to the Hawkeye shortstop. This one's just missed the zone. Not really. I really can't be too sure as to where that one missed the zone at, if I'm being completely honest. But it was called a ball, and the count is 2-0. Maybe Kraft behind the plate was set up way outside, and I just have no idea where the strike zone is anymore. The 2-0 curveball, there's a little bit of a makeup call, as this one is pretty far outside, or at least it's been called a ball all day, but our home plate umpire sticks his right fist in the air and calls it a strike. And what's that saying? 2 wrongs don't make a right, 2 wrong calls don't make things okay. And check swing from Bennett, but it's in fair territory. Weak ground ball. Back to Pease, who gloves it and flips over to Cox. And out number 3 is made. So the Hawkeyes strand 2 more, as they had runners on second and third, but were unable to score the first run of the game. Hawkeyes, no runs, had the 2 hits, no errors, and left 2 on. We head to the bottom of the third. We're still scoreless. You're listening to Iowa Softball with Learfield.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
We head to the bottom of the third inning. Iowa, Minnesota, still scoreless. I'm Lucas Strang. You're listening to Iowa Hawkeye Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa's had their chances so far. Have 3 hits through 3 innings, and have stranded 3 runners in scoring position. The team today now moves to 0 for 4. With runners in scoring position. And here's a leadoff single into left field for Kayla Chavez. A ground ball that just went between Baines and Bennett. So Chavez reaches base safely for the second time today, as Minnesota has their leadoff runner on here in the home half of the third. And now it's Amani Bradley for Minnesota. Bradley is 0 for 1. Popped up to Bennett at shortstop in the first. And a foul ball off the bat of Bradley. And the count's 0-1. Bradley taking the slap approach from the left side. Has moved up in the order after hitting in the 8th spot in Game 3 against Michigan State. Is now hitting 2nd today as she watches ball 1. And the reason that she's moved up into the 2 hole is because she was the only Golden Gopher to tally a multi-hit game in that Game 3 2-3 loss to Michigan State. She went 2 for 3, and as I said, the only Minnesota player to achieve multiple hits. As this bunt attempt goes foul, goes into the netting. So Bradley is behind 1-2. The 1-2 is a screwball that's outside. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. To the Minnesota left fielder. The 2-2 is called strike 3. That fastball just caught the outside corner. And Brianna Vasquez has her 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. So with 1 away and a runner on first, Natalie Den Hartog will step up offensively for Minnesota. Den Hartog, who is probably their best hitter, at least statistically speaking. As she watches strike 1 catch the inside part of the plate. Den Hartog, a .318 batting average. Has 10 doubles on the year and 9 home runs, which is the second most on the team. A 396 OBP with a .598 slugging. Watches ball 1 upstairs, counts 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 runner on after Chavez led off the third with a single into left. Vasquez's 1-1 is a line drive out towards left field, back at the wall, and it is gone. A 2-run home run from Natalie Den Hartog, and Minnesota's on the board first. And that was a line drive of a shot that was just screaming through the air off the bat of Den Hartog, her 10th home run of the season. And Minnesota holds a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. Klosterman gave chase out in left field, but that thing cleared the wall by a long shot. So Den Hartog gets her 10th home run of the season. Second most home runs, and this is a Minnesota team that is carried by the long ball a lot. And strike one is thrown to Jess Oakland. That is their 51st home run of the season. That's the second most in the Big Ten, and if you compare that to Iowa's home run numbers, Iowa has just 18. So Minnesota with nearly 3 times as many home runs as the Hawkeyes, as this one fouled away. Counts 0-2. The 0-2 pitch from Vasquez runs inside. A little chin music. And sends a warning shot to Oakland to get off of the plate. So Minnesota scoring first when they're the first ones to score in a game. When they score first, they're 18-8 on the season. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3, so Vasquez backs up the home run, follows it up with her 4th strikeout of the game, second one of the inning. And it'll bring up Sydney Strelo now. Shows bunt, pulls back. Ball 1. The long ball has really been an issue this year for Vasquez. The 11th home run she's given up this season. And this is from an Iowa pitching staff that has a 2.25 ERA as a team. That's the number 1 ERA in the Big Ten. Strike 1. He's called, catches the inside half. A 2.25 team earned run average. As I said, that paces the Big Ten. And it's not just because of a small sample size. They also lead the Big Ten in most innings pitched this year. Strike 2 is called, counts 1-2. Brianna Vasquez, who has the 7th best ERA in the Big Ten, but again, the long ball has really been her kryptonite this season. This fastball runs upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 1.79 ERA on the season for Vasquez, but that will that will be moving up after the 2-run shot. And here's a pop fly in foul territory, but it's going to find the seating. So we'll do it all over again. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 out. Minnesota hold the 2-0 lead. As Doster now will head out to the circle and have a chit-chat with Brianna Vasquez ahead of this 2-2 count. Against Strela, who's not had the season that she's really been looking for, a 181 batting average. So the count's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on here in the home half of the third. Vasquez's pitch is in and off the fists. Fouled off again. We'll repeat once more. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Vasquez into the motion and the pitch. Here's a fly ball out towards right field. Carter's going to go over and easily make the catch for out number 3, but the damage was done as Minnesota takes a 2-0 lead off of a 1-out home run off the bat of Natalie Den Hartog. So after 3 complete, Minnesota leads it 2-0. I'm Lucas Strain. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
After a cancer diagnosis,
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
This game is just about halfway done as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Hawkeyes trail it 2-0. But it's not out of a lack of chances. Hawkeyes have had 3 runners in scoring position and stranded all 3 of them. Hawkeyes 0 for 4 today as a team when they're batting with a runner in scoring position. And leading things off here to try and get back one of those 2 runs will be Grace Baines, the Hawkeye third baseman. Baines is 0 for 1 today, struck out swinging to end the top of the 1st inning and strand Nia Carter on second base. Hawkeyes have 3 hits, but 2 of the 3 belong to leadoff Nia Carter. As here's a curveball, low and away, ball 1. Again, we're seeing Autumn Pease is just attacking this Hawkeye offense with that curveball in the lower outer corner. So Baines is ahead 1-0. And this fastball runs inside for ball 2. And the Hawkeyes knew it was going to be a very tough task going up against Pease in this one. Pease, who was just taken in the 3rd round of the women's fast pitch draft last week by the Texas Smoke. The 2-0 is called a strike on the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. What's been a cold one thus far. We saw some flurries earlier, but now it's typically just turned to a slight breeze. And this is a ground ball that runs foul down the third base line. So after falling behind 2-0, Pease has evened things up to Baines, who is leading off the top of the 4th. As I said, Baines has been struggling just a little bit. Had a 10-game hitting streak going into last weekend. Saw it snap during Game 1 against Maryland and has gone 0 for 13 since that happened. The 2-2 is punched down the right field line, but he goes foul. So Baines sticks tough with 2 and looks to avoid striking out for the 2nd time today. The count's 2-2. Pease looks over towards the dugout, gets the sign, nods her head into the motion. Little hiccup in the motion, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Check swing from Baines. Home plate umpire might have called it a strike anyway, but that'll go down as a swinging strikeout in the books. 2nd time in the afternoon for Baines. And Pease is up to her 7th strikeout. So now it's Sammy Diaz, the Hawkeye first baseman, who has also struck out today in her first. She struck out to lead off the top of the 2nd inning. And here's a foul ball off the netting. Counts 0-1. Diaz hitting .274 this season. Behind 0-1 now. And this curveball misses outside. Counts 1-1. Last weekend, Diaz went 2 for 8 in the Maryland series. Drove in a run, also drew a walk. And earlier this week in Hawkeyes' 7-1 win over Western Illinois, Diaz went 3 for 4 to lead the team and had 3 RBIs. Swings and misses here on a hard swing. And a ball up and in her eyes. And it counts 1-2. In that Wednesday game against Western Illinois, Sammy Diaz got her first triple of the season in that 3 for 4 effort. The 1-2 is pushed back and into the netting, just hits the net before what would have been a remarkable catch from the Minnesota catcher in Kraft. But it definitely hit the netting about halfway up as Kraft just ran out of room. You can see that Diaz's timing is thrown off just a little bit. Her swing is really long and wild right now. You can see it's kind of taken her a long time to just get into the motion. When you're facing a pitcher like Pease, you just want to stay short and quick to the ball. As this one's punched down the right field line, but foul. So again, Diaz is sticking tough with 2. But again, her swing is just taking a little long to get into, and that's why she's so late on some of these faster pitches from Pease. When Diaz is just taking such a long, lethargic way to get there, she's just behind on it. The 1-2, and she's late on the fastball, swings and misses. For strike number 3, Pease' second strikeout of the inning and 8th of the game. Striking people out is getting high strikeout numbers for Pease is nothing out of the ordinary. Her season high is 14. Earlier this season, it also stands as her career high. Ball 1 to Lecker. Curveball outside. Pease has been a very good pitcher so far this year for Minnesota. A 1.72 ERA. As this curveball misses outside as well. Has 17 wins this year for Minnesota. That's the most in the Big Ten. And has thrown 3 shutouts just on her own. 182 strikeouts this season. Over 500 in her career. The 2-0 to Lecker is a deep fly ball into left field. But Amani Bradley will go actually into foul territory now. But makes the catch. Wind held that one up just a little bit. But Bradley makes the catch, and the Hawkeyes go 3 up, 3 down in their half of the 4th inning. As we head to the bottom half of the 4th, Minnesota still leads it 2-0. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/Iowans win.
Time for the home half of the 4th as Minnesota leads the Hawkeyes 2-0, and Taylor Kraft is going to get things going For Minnesota, Kraft 0 for 1. Popped up to Streff in shallow right field in her first AB. Here's a sky-high pop fly, but it'll go behind the seats. And the count's 0-1. As I said, Kraft is 0 for 1 today. Is a .372 hitter on the season, though. Transfer from Duke. He hit .200 last year for the Blue Devils. But Kraft leads the team this year in home runs. Here's a pop fly staying on the infield. And Bennett camps under it and makes the catch, out number 1. So now it'll be Maddie Elke for the Golden Gophers. Elke just a tick under .300 this year. Launches ball 1 outside. But Elke is 1 for 1 today. Singled on a hard ground ball into left in the second inning. Launches ball 2, miss up and out from Vasquez. It counts 2 balls and no strikes. Vasquez in her 4th inning of work has given up 2 runs, both of them earned, and 3 hits with 4 strikeouts, but also walked a pair in the first, is behind 3-0 now. As this one misses outside. And we've seen a lack of command has been struggling Vasquez early in this game. Strike 1 is in there. Counts 3-1. Has thrown 64 pitches. And we're not even through the 4th inning yet. Counts 3-1 to Elke. And here's a fly ball into left field. Klosterman battling the wind, but makes the two-handed catch. And there are 2 away. As Delaney Cox now for the Golden Gophers. Cox is 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the second inning. So there's quickly 2 away, and Vasquez pumps it in there for strike 1. Cox hitting .206, remember. Served as the flex in their last game against Michigan State. But she's in the lineup in this one. Gets to bat in her own spot. Watches ball 1 miss inside, and the count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 from Vasquez is pulled down the left field line, but it goes over the third base dugout. So the count is 1-2. Vasquez is threatening to get her 5th strikeout of the afternoon. The 1-2 pitch from Vasquez is fouled off. Nice job from Cox there to just get a piece of that one. It was up and in the lettering. A really good 2-strike pitch from Vasquez. It's a ball that we know is not going to get called a strike, especially from how our umpire has been calling it so far in this game. But it was just high enough and in the eyes to make Cox try and want to offer at it. This screwball misses inside, and count evens at 2 apiece. Vasquez into the motion and the pitch, and it's called strike 3. And Vasquez gets her 5th strikeout out of the afternoon. As Minnesota goes 3 up, 3 down. We're heading to the top of the 5th inning. Iowa still trails at 2-0. You're listening to the Iowa softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/Iowans win.
We head to the top of the 5th. As the Hawkeyes trail it 2-0. In this season, when Iowa is losing after 4 innings, they are only 3-12 in such games. If we look at things from Minnesota's side, when they are leading after 4, they are 17-3. And the Minnesota Golden Gophers got their 2 runs off of a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 3rd off the bat of Natalie Den Hartog, the 3-hole hitter who hit a line drive that just screamed off the bat and over the left field wall. And leading off the top of the 5th for Iowa will be Tristan Doster. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Take a closer look and you'll discover the many connections you have to corn. And those connections translate into wins for farmers and wins for all Iowans. Share your winning moments using hashtag #IowansWin. And this change up from Pease misses low, ball 1. Pease working her 5th inning, has gone 4, allowed no runs on 3 hits, and has struck out 8. 7 of those strikeouts came in the Hawkeyes' first time through the order. They've been hanging around a little bit tougher this second time through. Strike 1. Catches the outside corner to the Iowa catcher. Doster's 0 for 1. Flied out to shallow right center field in her first AB. Just gets enough of this one and fouls it off into the netting. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Doster into her 2-strike approach where she shows bunt and pulls back. And this change-up misses low and in. And the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the flurries are back, as we're seeing just a little bit more snow in the air. Doster sends a fly ball into deep center field, but back goes to Hartog, who makes the one-handed catch for the first out of the 5th. And now it'll be Briley Klosterman. Klosterman, who singled on a line drive / kind of bloop out towards right center in her first at-bat. Trying to get one of those hot stretches going that we know she's capable of. Sends a fly ball into shallow right field, but this one's not going to drop. Burnett comes on and makes the catch. So a 1-pitch AB for Klosterman. And quickly 2 away as Anna Streff now will bat for Iowa. Streff 0 for 1. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. And she spits on one down the right field line, but it fades foul. And the count is 0-1. Streff has really taken over the spot as the primary second baseman. Has only really seen one game in which she was not playing. As she watches ball one low and away. Has only seen one game where she was not the second baseman since Big Ten play has started. And that was following a 3-error performance in the field against Northwestern a couple weekends ago. But she has retaken her spot and solidified herself as the everyday second baseman. This one's fouled off into the netting. And the count is 1-2. Pease, who has cruised through this Hawkeye lineup now after Streff, will be twice through. He has 8 strikeouts so far after she's faced 17 Hawkeye batters, striking out just under half of everyone she's seen. The 1-2 pitch to Streff is swung on and missed. Streff went out of the zone and chased the curveball for strike 3. And that's Pease' 9th strikeout of the game. As we head into the 5th inning stretch, Iowa still trails it 2-0. I'm Lucas Strain. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
We're going to have a pinch hitter here for Minnesota to lead off the bottom of the 5th. It's going to be Addison Leschber hitting in the spot of Breezy Burnett in the 9 hole. So it's 9-1-2. So Coach Ritter is looking to have a leadoff runner here before the top of her lineup comes up. And Addison Leschber will be the pinch hitter. A .254 batter on the season. She watches ball one upstairs out of the hand of Vasquez. 18 hits and 71 at-bats. 4 home runs on the season. As I said, a .254 hitter, .361 OBP. Watches another ball. This one's even farther upstairs. And the count's 2-0. Now this Addison Leschber, when she's the first one batting, when she's leading off an inning, she's hitting .435 this season. Watch a strike one. So maybe with that leadoff batting average in mind, when you're getting on about half of the time, maybe that's why Coach Ritter decided to use Leschber in this spot as a pinch hitter. And she fouls one off over the left side. And the count's 2-2. We will likely see Burnett re-enter the game for Leschber, as Leschber is a infielder, and Burnett is the starting right fielder in today's game. And here's a pop fly that's going to go foul. Baines is going to make the play, though, in foul territory. So Leschber is not able to get the pinch hit single to lead off the 5th. And there's one away as the Minnesota Golden Gophers will turn the lineup over with Kayla Chavez. Chavez, I kind of like this. If you've ever done any play-by-play or some kind, you'll know that there's pronunciation guides. And Chavez, it's spelled like you would say Chavez, but it's Chavez, and in their pronunciation guide, they put in parentheses, say it cha, like you'd say the cha-cha. So it's Chavez. And she hits a check swing ground ball over to Diaz, who will make the play. So quickly 2 away in the bottom of the 5th. And Amani Bradley now for Minnesota. Bradley's 0 for 2. Has popped up and struck out looking. Bradley hitting .250 on the year, and as I said, hit in the 9 spot in their game on Saturday against Michigan State, but has moved her way up into the 2 hole. And watches this one cross inside. Count is 2-0. Hawkeyes trail it 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. As ball 3 is thrown upstairs, and Vasquez is behind 3-0. This Hawkeye offense has really been the struggle and why Iowa hasn't had more wins so far this season. If you take out their 7-1 win over a not very good Western Illinois team who doesn't even have 10 wins on the year, Iowa hasn't scored more than 5 runs in their last 6 games. As there's ball 4, so it's a 4-pitch walk. A 2-out 4-pitch walk to Amani Bradley, and that's just not ideal if you're Brianna Vasquez, to say the least, because now it's Natalie Den Hartog who hit the big 2-run home run for Minnesota. She's the one stepping into the plate now, stepping up to the plate and into the box. Mixing up my phrases there. Strike 1 is thrown by Vasquez to Den Hartog. This is the first of our 3-game series between Iowa and Minnesota up in Minneapolis. Game 2 is scheduled for tomorrow at 1 o'clock, but with Mother Nature ever so changing, we'll have to try and keep you updated if there is any scheduling changes. Count's now 1-1. Bradley stands on first base as Minnesota already leads at 2-0, both runs provided via the batter at the plate right now in Den Hartog. His ball 2 misses up high, and the count's 2-1. Vasquez is approaching 100 pitches now. In what is her 5th inning of work. And this one's fouled off the netting. Count evens 2 balls and 2 strikes. So deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first. Minnesota leads it 2-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning in what's been a very quick ball game. Almost through 5 complete, and we're just under an hour and a half in total game time. Vasquez's 2-2 pitch is a sky-high pop fly that'll stay in the infield. Diaz, battling the wind, makes a difficult catch. A little more difficult than it needed to be, but the play was made. 4-out number 3, so a 2-out walk by Amani Bradley, but she's stranded on first. We head to the top of the 6th inning, and we're still scoreless. You're listening to Iowa Softball with Learfield.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
We head to the top of the 6th inning, and Iowa trails at 2-0. Autumn Pease is still in the circle for Minnesota. And Nia Carter is going to be leading things off here in the top of the 6th, and she's the exact person that you'd want up there. Hawkeyes have 3 hits in this game, and Carter has 2 of them. Iowa's has been held hitless since Nia Carter's single into left field in her second at-bat in the 3rd inning. Iowa, no runs, 3 hits, no errors, and they trail Minnesota's 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors. Pease has been cruising thus far. Has retired the last 8 Hawkeyes. So nobody has gotten on for Iowa since Nia Carter in her last at-bat. As this one's fouled down the third baseline. And as I said, Nia Carter's the person you want to have up there. 478 hitter on the year to lead the Big Ten, but when she's the leadoff batter of an inning, she's hitting .598, a 600 batting average in Division I college softball when she's leading off an inning. That is out of this world good. As this one's fouled down the third baseline. So the count is 0-2. And we questioned if Burnett was going to re-enter the game after getting pinch hit before a half inning ago, and she has. Breezy Burnett is back out in right field after Leshber popped out in foul territory in her pinch hit opportunity. This one's punched foul from Carter. So Carter's seen 3 pitches this AB, and she swung at all of them. Snow's really coming down now. None of it's sticking, of course. But the wind's picked up, and we're seeing a lot more hoods being thrown over heads. Here's a weak ground ball to the second baseman, and Strelo, who makes the easy field and toss over to first for the 4-3 putout. So Carter is retired for the first time today, and that's 9 straight for Autumn Pease. And now it's Tatiana Roman. Roman's 0 for 1, but has a sacrifice bunt. Her 8th sacrifice of the year, second most in the conference. And she watches strike 1 catch the outside corner. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Pease to Roman is a ground ball that's gloved by Pease. Backhanded style, and makes the throw over to first for out number 2. So a pair of groundouts here in the top of the 6th inning. And now it'll be Tori Bennett offensively for the Hawkeyes. Bennett's 0 for 2, trying to end what has been 10 straight retired by Autumn Pease. And here's a pop fly into shallow left center field, and it's going to find no man's land and drop in safely for a bloop hit. So after 10 straight retired by Pease, Tori Bennett with a 2-out single into left field, and the tying run now comes to the plate in Grace Baines. A home run here would tie the game. for the Hawkeye cleanup hitter and Grace Baines. 2 home runs on the season. Watches ball 1 skim across the dirt. And the count's 1-0. Hawkeyes are now out-hitting the Golden Gophers 4-3. And I'm only pointing that out because when Iowa out-hits their opponents, they're 25-3 this year. It's very rare in which they'll get out-hit and lose, when they would out-hit their opponent and lose the game. The 1-0 curveball misses outside, and the count's 2-0. Again, Baines represents the tying runner at the plate. The 2-0 is an off-speed, called strike 1. Baines taken all the way. Counts 2-1. Bennett stands on first, and here's a fastball that just skims across the knees. And it caught just enough of the zone for our home plate umpire to stick his right fist into the air and call it strike 2. So deuces are wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bennett stands on first. Baines is at the plate. Hawkeyes trail it 2-0. Pease 2-2 pitch. He's a curveball check swing. Runner goes down to second, and Bennett. And that's a stolen base for Torrey Bennett on the 2-2 pitch. The pitch was called a ball on the check swing. So Baines has worked the count full as Torrey Bennett swipes second. Her 4th steal of the year. As Bennett pokes one down the right field line, but it goes foul. And it's back-to-back games with a stolen base for Torrey Bennett. So somebody who has only stolen twice before the week started now has 2 steals in as many games. But her run doesn't mean anything. Hawkeyes trail it by 2. Runner on second, 2 away. Autumn Pease into the motion, and the pitch to Baines is a weak ground ball to shortstop, fielded, and the throw over is in time for out number 3. So Hawkeyes move to 0 for 5 today with runners in scoring position. And as we head to the bottom of the 6th, they trail it 2-0. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
We're in the middle of the 6th. Brianna Vasquez back into the circle. Coach Piper Ritter, the head coach of this Minnesota team, is 84-55 in her head coaching career of the Golden Gophers. Minnesota in the Big Ten standings, they sit below Iowa. Minnesota's 9th in the Big Ten, while Iowa's at 7th. But the big thing for Minnesota is when they're at home, they are 9-2. They are a completely different team at home and on the road. At home 9-2 and on the road 4-10. Kind of reminds me of the defending NBA champions in the Golden State Warriors. A unreal home record, but a historic road record. 3rd worst road record for any defending champions. Now, we're not calling the Minnesota Golden Gophers a champion of any sorts, but it's interesting to see those home and road splits. And as they're home right now, they lead at 2-0. Here's a line drive that's going to one-hop off the wall. over the head of Klosterman. And Jess Oakland slides in safely, and now the throw's going to get away from Streff at second. And Oakland advances to third on the throwing error. So it's a leadoff double. And Oakland advances to third on the air. So there's now a runner on third. With nobody out here to lead off the sixth. So now it's Sydney Strelo who watches strike one. You know, making errors is kind of been Iowa's norm this year. That is the 47th team error this year. They're the 11th worst in the Big Ten. And here's a line drive that's going to short hop off the wall. Oakland will easily score from third. And it's a stand-up double for Sydney Strelo. And Minnesota extends their lead and now lead it 3-0. Pair of hard hit balls here in the bottom of the sixth. And it's a pair of doubles as Minnesota scratches across another run and lead it 3-0. So now Taylor Kraft, Minnesota catcher. Doster calls time behind the plate to try and calm down Vasquez in the circle. Vasquez into the motion and a pitch, and this is a line drive, and that's going way over the wall out in left center field. And that's a two-run shot off of the bat of Taylor Kraft. It's her team-leading 12th home run of the season. And Minnesota now leads it 5-0 on three straight hard-hit balls here in the bottom of the sixth, and Kraft knew it off of the bat. Went into the home run trot as soon as it cracked off the barrel. As she rounded third and headed home, went into the Minnesota patented row the boat celebration. As Minnesota's still now pouring it on as they lead it 5-0, and it looks like Brianna Vasquez's day is going to be done. After the two-run shot, Denali Lecker is going to be the new Hawkeye pitcher. We're going to take a quick break while she's warming up. When we return, you're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
So Vasquez's day in the circle is done. She went 5+ innings, allowing 5 runs on 6 hits, striking out 5 and walking 3. She's in line for the loss right now, and Denali Lecker is the new Hawkeye pitcher. As the first pitch she throws is called strike on the outer half. Lecker this season, a 2-0 record, 1.94 ERA over 47 innings pitched. The third most frequent Hawkeye pitcher this year. It is her 21st appearance. Here's a hard ground ball over the right side, but Streff ranges over to her left and makes the play for out number 1. And now Delaney Cox will dig in for Minnesota. As I said, it's Lecker's 20th appearance on the year. Opponents are hitting .247 against her. 37 strikeouts to 16 walks. And is leading the team with 6 saves this season. She hasn't been pitching very much as of late, though, as she's only pitched 3 times over the last 3 weeks. And in those 3 appearances, she's gone 3 1/3 innings, but hasn't allowed a run and has only given up 1 hit. And as I said, she pitched just 1 time in the Maryland series last weekend. And she'll face Delaney Cox, who hits a weak ground ball back up the middle. Lecker gloves it and makes the underhanded toss to Diaz over to first. For out number 2. And we're going to have another pinch hitter here for Breezy Burnett. So Burnett, who has already pinch hit for once, is now getting hit for again, so her day will be done. And this will be Nani Valencia. Valencia, a .203 hitter this season, .288 OBP. And this off-speed is called strike 1. Catches the outside corner. Counts 0-1. Lecker's been working quick for the Hawkeyes as the snow is really picking up now. And it's blowing into the faces of these right-handed batters. Now, it's not that strong where it's just blowing horizontally into their face. So the bill of the helmet is long enough to catch most of the snow to stop it from hitting their eyes. As here's a fly ball, but it's going to slice foul over the first base dugout. Counts 1-2. Hawkeyes trail at 5-0 and are looking to avoid being shut out in back-to-back weekends. We're shut out last Friday, a week ago, in Game 2 against Maryland, as this one's yanked outside. Counts 2-2. They were shut out 2-0 against Maryland 7 days ago and are 3 outs away from getting shut out in this one against Minnesota. An Iowa team that failed to score over 2 runs in all 3 games last weekend. As here's a line drive out towards right field. Carter's going back. It's going to go just over her outstretched glove. 2 hop off the wall. The throw into second is late. And it's a stand-up, 2-out, pinch hit double for Nani Valencia. So the Minnesota offense has really picked up here in the bottom of the 6th and given them some much-needed insurance runs. And it's back to the top of the order for the Golden Gophers and Kayla Chavez. Chavez, 1 for 2, was walked, singled, and grounded out on a check swing. Has scored one of the 5 Minnesota runs. Watches strike 1. Counts 0-1. The 0-1 is a hard ground ball back up the middle. It's going to reach the outfield. Valencia rounds third, heads home. Roman's throw is just late, says our home plate umpire, as Valencia slides in safely. It was a really good throw from Roman out in center. On line, It wasn't too high. It was just a tad late. Getting a look at the replay here. The ball definitely beats her. And, boy, I really can't tell. As we're looking at the replay, you really can't tell if that foot got in there before the tag was applied on Valencia's knee. But it'll go down as an RBI single for Chavez, who advanced to second on the throw, so Minnesota leads it 6-0. And there's strike one to Amani Bradley. Bradley 0 for 2 has popped out, struck out, and walked. The 0-1 from Lecker is low and away for ball one, and the snow is really coming down now. You see people in the crowd are bundled up in blankets. Hoods are drawn. Chins are tucked into the chest, trying to stay warm in what is a cold, windy, and snowy day. Here's a hard ground ball over to Diaz, who gloves it and steps on first for the third and final out, but not before Minnesota is able to push across 4 insurance runs. 4 runs on 5 hits, 1 Hawkeye error. And they left 1 on, but they lead it 6-0 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Autumn Pease is making the slow walk back out into the circle, as she's going to look for her 4th shutout of the season. See if we can pull up some numbers in front of you for Pease. She's thrown 11 complete games this season, so this would be her 12th, and what would be her 4th shutout of the year. Iowa this season, when they head into the 7th inning and they're trailing, they are 1 for 13. Sorry, 1 and 13. Not 1-4. 1 and 13. So it would be their second 7th inning comeback this year if they were able to come back from this 6-0 deficit. And leading things off will be Sammy Diaz, the first baseman who watches ball one outside. Diaz 0 for 2 today. Has struck out twice. Minnesota, on the other hand, when they're leading heading into the 7th inning, they are 13-1, so it's just complete flip-flops. As this curveball's yanked outside, 2-0. So when Minnesota's leading in the 7th, they're nearly have the win locked up, and Iowa's still looking for just their second 7th inning comeback this year. And here's a spinner that's going to stay fair in front of the first baseline. The barehanded play by Kraft, and the throw over to first is in time. It was a really weird play out of the box. Diaz hit it just off the end of the bat, and it hit just in front of the plate and had such weird spin on it that it spun fair. But Kraft, the Minnesota catcher, popped up smartly, made the barehanded catch, and threw over to first base in time to retire Diaz. So there's 1 away, and Denali Lecker now, who's 0 for 2, has struck out and flied out in foul territory. Watches strike 1 at the knees, 0-1. Iowa had their chances in this game, had a leadoff double from Nia Carter to start things off before 3 straight strikeouts. And then in the third, Hawkeyes also had 2 in scoring position, but both were stranded there as well. As a team, they're 0 for 4 today, with runners in scoring position and are only 1 for 7 with a runner on. Have struck out 9 times. Pease has been knocking on the door of double-digit strikeouts for a large part of the afternoon. Ball 2 is low. In her first time through the Iowa lineup, struck out 7 of the 9 Hawkeye batters. But after that first time through, the Hawkeyes have only struck out twice. The 2-1 to Lecker is an off-speed low. Ball 3. And the Hawkeyes aren't getting any help from Pease in the walk department. Hasn't walked anyone, hasn't hit anyone. Been a very dominant afternoon for the Minnesota ace, who was just drafted in the 3rd round of the fast pitch draft. The 3-1 to Lecker is called strike. I thought that one was a little low, and Lecker did too. But maybe the top of the ball just did catch the bottom of her kneecap. And the count's full. Lecker, who has the home run capability, leads the team this year in home runs, but a solo shot wouldn't do much except for pride. As here's a fly ball into right center field. Players are looking up into the snow, covering their faces. But Den Hartog will make the catch in shallow right center field for out number 2. And the Hawkeyes are down to their last chance. It's Tristan Doster, the catcher, who's 0 for 2. Has flied out to center twice in very similar spots. Doster, .326 hitter this year. Checks her swing and a ball in the dirt. Counts 1-0. Looking forward to Game 2 tomorrow and Game 3 on Sunday, or at least that's how it's scheduled to be. You never know with Mother Nature. Strike 1 is called as it crosses just across the knees of Doster. Strike 1. Counts 1-1. Minnesota leads at 6-0. Pease into the motion and the pitch. Is chopped at, but got just enough of it, did Doster, to foul it off. And the count's 1-2. Pease having a bit of a joke, a bit of a laugh with our home plate umpire, and Minnesota's now a strike away from winning Game 1. Pease into the motion. Doster's at the plate. And the pitch is outside. Ball 2. So the theatrics of our final pitch will have to wait just a little bit longer, as Doster doesn't chase and deuces her wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Pease takes the sign as the Minnesota fans are starting to clap on beat and urge their team to another win. And this one's yanked upstairs, and Doster is able to work the count full. Pease is approaching her 100th pitch on the afternoon. But you know, Coach Ritter is nowhere close to taking out Pease. He's a strike away from her 4th shutout on the season. The full count pitch to Doster is fouled off, and we're going to do it again. Hawkeyes just 4 hits in this one. 3 of them through the first 3 innings, but over the last 4, the team's gotten just the 1. Pease's full count pitch to Doster is a ground ball that is foul, says our home plate umpire. The third baseman Chavez fielded the ball cleanly and threw over to first, but home plate umpire came in with his arms waving, and called that play dead. And said, no, that was a foul ball. And back in Doster, back into the box. So the count's still full. And here's another foul ball. This one goes over the seating of the first base fans. So it's been a very long at-bat as Doster's hanging tough and trying to keep the Hawkeyes in this one as they're down to their last chance. The full count pitch is a ground ball down the left side, but this one goes foul as well. So let's see if I can count right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to be the 10th pitch of the at-bat. Well over 100 pitches now. Is Autumn Pease. As Doster is hung tough after falling behind 0-2 very quickly. Has hit 4 straight. Excuse me, she didn't fall behind 0-2. Fell behind 1-2. And has fouled off 4 straight pitches from Pease. So the count's still full as Pease goes into the motion. And her pitch is upstairs for ball 4. So impressive at bat for Tristan as she works the full count walk. And now we'll have a pinch runner over at first base. It will be down, Haley down for the Hawkeyes, wearing 00. And now to bat is Briley Klosterman, the Hawkeye left fielder who has the home run capability. We know this, but again, home run doesn't do much. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Strike 1. Hawkeyes trail it 6-0 after Minnesota scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th. If that hadn't happened, then Klosterman would have represented the tying run at the plate. And this off-speed misses low and away to the left-handed batting Klosterman, ball 1. So the count's 1-1 to the Iowa left fielder. And she takes upstairs 2-1. Kraft behind the plate is keeping Down honest over at first base. And Down has to be careful over there because her run just doesn't mean anything. It would be nice to push across 1 run, but in all reality, if you're trying to actually make a comeback, a miracle comeback in this game, there's no point in dancing off first base. She's not dancing per se. Just stating the obvious. And this one's foul. Down the left field line. So deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Down stands on first. Klosterman's at the plate. Pease into the motion, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Autumn Pease ends this game on her 10th strikeout of the afternoon to complete the complete game shutout. Final score, Minnesota 6, Iowa 0. We're going to take a quick 2-minute spot, and then we'll be back with our post-game coverage. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, Get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
So, final score, Minnesota 6, Iowa 0. I'm Lucas Strain. You're listening to Iowa softball post-game coverage on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And really, if you want to think about this game, the first person you have to mention for Minnesota is starting pitcher Autumn Pease, who completed her 4th shutout of the season. Her 12th complete game in what has just been a dominant season for her thus far. As she earns the win, Brianna Vasquez takes the loss for the Hawkeyes. And if we look at the box score, Autumn Pease finishes going 7 innings, allowing no runs on 4 hits. 1 walk. That didn't come until the 7th inning, and 10 strikeouts for the Minnesota ace. And if you're curious, that's not her season high. Struck out 14 this year at Cal State. But she finishes 7 innings, gets the complete game shutout, striking out 10. She was aided by a pair of home runs off of the bat of Natalie DenHartog and Taylor Kraft. Both 2-run shots. As we head into a quick summary, Minnesota took a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning off of the 2-run home run off of Natalie DenHartog. And the score remained such, 2-0, until the bottom of the 6th inning. As Vasquez went in for her 6th inning of work, and 3 straight hard-hit balls by the Minnesota Bats, a pair of doubles, and another home run from Taylor Kraft put Minnesota up 5-0. Before Coach Gillespie eventually came out and made the switch and put in Denali Lecker. Lecker, who came in, got a quick 2 outs before a pair of 2-out Minnesota hits as they scratched across one more to give them a 6-0 lead. Kayla Chavez was the one who drove in that 6th run. She was the only one who had multiple hits on the day for Minnesota. They finished with 8 as a team. And if we look at Iowa offensively, they only had 4 hits. Went 4 for 24 as a squad, striking out 10 times. Nia Carter had half of the Iowa hits, went 2 for 3. Led off the game with a double off the right field wall. Had a single into left in the 3rd. And Iowa had their chances in this one. As I said, Carter led things off with a double. But then 3 straight strikeouts by Roman, Bennett, and Baines left her stranded on second. And then in the third inning, in what was still a scoreless game at the time, Iowa had runners on first and second with one away. Coach Gillespie elects to go with the sacrifice with Tatiana Roman at the plate. So they move runners over to second and third. With 2 outs, Coach Gillespie clearly thinking that Tori Bennett, who's at the plate and is tied for the 9th most hits in the Big Ten coming into this game, she's probably thinking a base hit here. With Carter's speed at second, this is going to give us a 2-0 lead. But Bennett was retired. And Iowa stranded the runners. As a team, Iowa went 1 for 8 when there were runners on base. And 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Those were the only times, the times that I just mentioned, in the first and in the third, in which Iowa had runners in scoring position. So they went 0 for 4 as a team. Tori Bennett went 0 for 2 herself. And those are the chances that have just plagued Iowa all season. They get runners on, it's just they don't always have the ability to push them across and give them early run support. And it's a trend that's continuing from last weekend, in which we saw Iowa was shut out in one game and failed to score 3 runs in all 3. But the Iowa Hawkeyes lose Game 1 of this 3-game series 6-0. Game 2 is set for tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be on the call right here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And that's going to just about do it for our post-game coverage. One final time. Your final score, Minnesota Golden Gophers 6, Iowa Hawkeyes 0. I'm Lucas Strain. You've been listening to this edition of an Iowa softball broadcast. We thank you very much, and wherever you are, have a good night, everybody. And as always, go Hawks.
Iowa Hawkeye Softball has been brought to you by Homewood and Home 2 Suites, preferred hotel of the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Oak Knoll, an active life care community. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. And by Iowa City Tire and Service, a proud supporter of Hawkeye softball. Iowa City Tire, where service actually comes first. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.